We're working. We're in the lab, and we're gonna make sure this happens as soon as possible.
Welcome to an episode of the Sports Genes Into the Lab podcast, where sports analysts and experts dissect the latest news from the NBA and NFL, giving you a unique view on some of the hottest topics around your favorite teams. From the fresh field smells of the NFL to the hardwood courts of the NBA, and possibly your comfy couch for your fantasy football team. Let's see what kind of news the lab is working with today. Here's your host from the Sports Analytics headquarters in San Antonio, Texas, Ernest Silva.
We are live. Welcome to Into the Lab podcast. Kenny and I are definitely excited to be with you guys. We got late arrivals popping in here and there. Somebody totally not driving is now on ITL. Appreciate him. What's going on, Kenny?
Not too much, man. I went to bed at the start of the fourth of the Cowboys game because I had to be up real early. And woke up and thought, what massacre happened in that fourth quarter? Because they absolutely destroyed the Colts, but that'll happen when you hire a TV pundit to be your head coach. So glad to see the Cowboys win. Going to be another great week of ITL, and appreciate you having me on as always, Ernest.
Of course, they should have hired Jeff Sunday, not Jeff Saturday. His team might show up. That's bad. Yeah, it is. It is. I'm going to guess it's Luke. Luke, what's up, man?
I'm totally not driving.
That's perfect. That's perfect.
100%. I'm here, and I'm not driving, and the Steelers are on a 2-game win streak, ? And I don't know how I feel about it, but I'm glad to be here.
Well, we're glad to have you, buddy. I'm really glad you're not driving, safe at home, under the sheets, just kind of hanging out. Victory week. I'm excited for you.
I love the strobe light that he has in his background that's just periodically going by. It's great.
You leave my club business out of this, Kenny. Okay.
Kenny Carter at the Ad Hedge Pod is where you can catch all of his content. Competitive Hedge Daily Podcast is where you can catch it, as well as Just Luke. Just Luke joining us today, not in his car, but comfortably in his bed. And we're excited to talk about today. Now, we are going to talk Cowboys football. Of course, it wouldn't be ITL without some Cowboys mentioning. But of course, you may not know this. 2022 is almost done, which means our slogan's almost done, which is why we say hashtag better together. And if you haven't heard hashtag better together, we're going to give you a little preview as to why with this official video.
Happy Thursday, y'all. Happy Thursday.
I'm your host, Andrew Kahn. This is the Boomtown Pod.
Add Into the Lab Pod is where you're watching today's stream.
Stuck him!
It is Blue Collar Game Day. I am your host.
I got a kill!
Welcome to episode 277 of the official Butthole Podcast. Got it.
Beautiful.
Better together.
Better together.
We're better together.
Better together.
Better together.
Shout out to It's Rated Merc. That's right, Mark Guajardo, the videographer behind the scenes that does everything for BCMG. Shout out to you, but hope you're having a great Tuesday night. Let's go into the round one. Round one's gonna be news from around the league. We're gonna go right into the ITL Listener League right after this short break. Round one is where we're starting things off. If you're listening from the podcast, get ready. We're gonna have a lot of laughs, so you might want to turn down the volume a little bit. Let's go to the ITL Listener League and see how Kenny and I did this past week. I'm sure we did phenomenal in that league.
Well, that's not even nice because you know what happened.
I'm just saying we don't know for sure officially. Now let's take a look. Rachel's Majestic team absolutely annihilated the Sport Jeans team, keeping me at a modest 7-6 in 5th place. Let's see where Kenny's team ended up just here so I don't get fined. Yeah, I got blown out again, Kenny. Kenny, how are you feeling today?
I'm just here so I don't get fined. I'm trying. Like, I haven't mailed it in. I'll say that much. I've set a lineup every single week, and it does not matter. I set a lineup every single week. Cortland Sutton got hurt. Kittle's QB broke his foot, so he's done for the year and really killed his value. CH was already hurt. I don't know what Jaguars player to start any given week. I start Christian Kirk the wrong week, then I start Travis Etienne, and then he gets 2 carries for 3 yards the next. I don't know. I'm trying, man. That's all I have to say.
We have playoffs right around the corner. I don't think you're gonna have to worry about playoffs this year.
I'm not worried about playoffs, but I am worried about being competitive, and I'm not. And that's driving me nuts.
That is true. You were talking earlier about how some leagues are already decided, and that gets kind of boring for week 14, although a lot of people probably don't care about week 14 considering 6 teams are on frickin' bye, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But if you take a look at the ITL listener standings, Pless Walker, a really good friend of the show, is number 1, has that bye right now locked up. Rachel's Majestic team also has a bye locked up, as I think they both have 3 losses in the loss column. In the middle there, you have captain of the BCMG stream team, Coach Peanut, Purple Pug Mafia, against the BCMG big dog himself, Steve, the General Reisner, at a 3-6 matchup. And right now, Jay Tanamachi, another great friend of the show, against moi in the 4-5 matchup. 6 teams make the playoffs, and if I didn't confirm it already, I'm pretty sure they've all clinched. Let's see. Star. Yeah, we all clinched. So the teams are locked in. So Frank Labuda, appreciate you. One of the listeners of ITL. Eric, of course, we all know Eric from Eric Sports Pick down at the 8 seed. You, Kenny, and Dan's dazzling team. All on the outside end, but you guys are going to have some fun. So you guys playing the consolation bracket.
Oh, I'm winning the toilet bowl. Yeah. I'm guaranteeing a toilet bowl victory.
Uh-oh. Is Kenny calling his shot?
Yeah, I'm calling it. I'm winning the toilet bowl. Breaking news. Go. I don't care, Eric, Daniel, Frank, y'all are done.
There you go. Those are fighting words. I expect to see all y'all in the comments at one point or messaging me. I'm going to take this guy out. Kenny's calling the toilet bowl winner. I'm just trying to play upset. Those teams are absolutely loaded at the top of that listener league. I don't know what happened in that draft, but I absolutely got screwed out of my players. But
also, I talked a lot of shit at that draft.
You did.
To be in 9th place. So it's 100% deserved.
We might have mentioned it. It's going to be the first subject. If you have fantasy football questions, dump those in the comments. Tag us in those. Let us know what those questions and thoughts are. That's what we're here for, is to give you our honest to goodness opinion and analysis for that. But let's talk a little bit about this Week 14 bye-pocalypse, which is absolutely nasty for most. The Atlanta Falcons, which includes your Cordero Pattersons. Some of y'all play Drake London in deeper leagues. Your Tyler Algiers. The Chicago Bears. So Justin Fields has been on a tear as of late. Maybe some of y'all David Montgomerys. You have the Green Bay Packers. Don't really have to go through each of these, but the Christian Watsons. The Colts with Jonathan Taylor's, Michael Pittman. Then you have Saints and Commanders, who I'd be surprised if you're playing too many from those teams besides Kamara and maybe Scary Terry. But Olave. Sorry, yeah, Chris Olave. I do start him.
And if you're starting Taysom Hill, then you're starting a quarterback at your tight end.
Not many probably start those anymore, but all of those are out. So you have to find alternative options on the waiver wire, right? You're looking towards those injury plagued players who may be out this week. Take a look at Seattle's backfield and maybe a couple others that are out there from the bye weeks, the last couple of weeks. But lots of players out for the final qualifier for fantasy football. So I encourage everybody to take a look at those waiver wires tonight. And let's go to the real football news. That's right. Kenny alluded to it. Our first topic for real football is going to be the Dallas Cowboys. Cowboys scored 33 points in 13 minutes to win 54-19 over the Indianapolis Colts. In case you missed it, which I'd be surprised, that's America's team. You've probably seen it. The Dallas Cowboys were only up 21-19 after a failed 2-point conversion, and with the 13-minute mark in the fourth quarter, just went on a frenzy of scoring points off turnovers. Interception, fumble, interception. No, wait. Yeah, that's right. And the Dallas Cowboys scored on each of those drives, touchdowns. So, Kenny, I know you said you stepped away or you went to sleep and you came back. You're like, what the hell? What are your thoughts after the Cowboys defense just decided to take over the game?
I want to give us credit, and we deserve some for the most points, I think, in a quarter in franchise history, if I'm not mistaken.
That is correct.
But the Colts are just bad. And it was all fun in games when Jeff Saturday won his first start. Then they got really close with the Eagles, but it's still a bad football team that has a lot of holes. And it starts at the top with the head coach being inexperienced, their quarterback not living up to what they thought he was going to be, thinking that Matt Ryan had some good football left in him. And Dallas's defense they're kind of what they were last year right now. They're a good turnover defense. And they showed it in the fourth quarter against a Colts team that loves to turn the ball over. So all the credit to Dallas for getting the win. They should have won this game. They were 11-point favorites heading in. And the fact that it was that close for three quarters is a little bit concerning, but nonetheless, they go and get the win by, 35 points, which is pretty huge. Although if you bet Dallas minus 35.5, then, you're
a little upset. Yeah, you're a little upset. Dallas looked like the team controlling the game for the most part. I think when Indy scored and Dallas couldn't in the third, it looked like there was some momentum shifting. And then you saw Dallas just take over. I think the big piece in this game, and it was mentioned over and over again, was the blitz calls by the defense. Just being able to go after Matt Ryan, knowing he's not going to run away. He's not an agile quarterback. What a flip of the script in the second half, specifically going into the fourth quarter for Dallas, that might have saved this game. And then there were no adjustments by Indy. It was, let's just keep running the same shit and we're going to deal with it. Hopefully it doesn't get worse. At one point, I think even when they were only up 15, I thought, take Matt Ryan out of the game. Like, why are you playing him? This is just embarrassing. And yet they kept playing. And Dallas kept their starters in the game, which was also questionable for me. I wasn't sure why that was happening. But the big piece, Luke, you're non-biased here, right? So what were your thoughts as you watched this primetime game last Sunday night?
I will never poo-poo a win in the NFL, but that's a bad football team.
Mm-hmm.
I was quite concerned. We're at third quarter. It's still 21-19 or something like that. I was a little concerned, but you played down to your opponent, which Dallas has in years past loved to do. But also in years past, you lose that game. So, they showed me that they could win that game, and that it's not a great win, but it's a win in the NFL. Nonetheless, I'll never poo-poo it. The problem I have is, yes, the defense is getting turnovers, and yes, they're scoring points off those turnovers. But when you have a mobile quarterback, you just cannot pin your ears back, and you can do that with the Matt Ryans of the world, with the Tom Brady's of the world, which you're gonna face in the playoffs. You will face Tom at some point. At least I believe.
Probably first round. Wild card.
So, but you're getting sacks, you're getting turnovers. I'm not gonna say that's not a great thing, but when you get against a guy that can just scamper for 5 to 10 yards, 5 to 6 yards, 5 to 7 yards, when you're sending these guys so far upfield, especially in Dan Quinn's defense, he loves to play a shell and loves to bring 6 or 7. That's the way Dan Quinn has always been his entire career. That's how he was in Seattle. That's what he wanted to bring to Dallas, and which arguably I could say, besides the corners, besides Trayvon Diggs, you have the front seven that could obviously probably match up pretty well to that Seattle team that they had. minus the corners and safeties, obviously. But I digress. It's still a win in the NFL, so it's you put a feather in the cap and you hope for the best, and you have to chase Philly. You're continuing to chase to Philly.
Yeah, I want to comment on the fact that we are saying, and Coach Peanut in the building. We were just talking about you, Coach, just a minute ago, and we're going to talk Browns in a bit. But I want to go back to the fact that the Colts are a bad team, right? Because Philly played this team 2 weeks ago at home. The score was 17-16 to end the game, right? Philly came back and won that game. And it was a game we were all questioning whether Philly was actually legit after the All-Star break, after the bye week they had, because they were struggling to beat teams, right? And then you see the Cowboys in a close game. They never lost the lead, but they're in a close game at 21-19 in the second half. And you got to admire the grit Indy showed to push Philly to the limit and almost beat them. They were up 16-10, if I don't remember that game correctly, with like 2 minutes left, and they failed on their two-minute possession. And the Cowboys never had that worry. So although the Colts are a terrible team, right, in comparison, the Cowboys and Eagles both were taken down the wire. Is it just that the NFC East in this type of matchup with this type of team with a good linebacker play struggle against teams with good linebacker play and that defensive set? Or is it just a matter of Indy plays 3 good quarters?
I think it's just the sheer fact that they want to play for Jeff Saturday, and they wanted to go out and beat the best team in the NFL. And that's why Kenny says it all the time. The NFL doesn't make any sense because on paper,
True,
Philadelphia should have beat the brakes off of them.
Yeah.
They should have. But if you looked at that film and you looked at that tape or you watched that game, they played sound gap defense against a very downhill running Philadelphia offense. And on that day, you could argue that the Indianapolis Colts were the better football team.
Would you not say, like, because we're talking about the fact that the Colts love to play for Jeff Saturday, like, I feel like Jeff Saturday would be an amazing GM. I just don't think that he's experienced enough to be a head football coach, or he'd be that coordinator that you just love. Like, if he was the offensive line coach, you'd be like, man, I want to give up no sacks today because I know my coach is over there and I just want to do it for him. But I don't think that he has the caliber to be an NFL head coach. And to be fair, I don't think the Colts thought that he did either when they hired him. I think they were just looking for who's the guy that we can put out there every week that the media loves, because we're going to take some heat over the fact that we were supposed to be a playoff team and we're not, because we keep bringing in old quarterbacks.
right?
And he can weather that and get you through this season. And then you can look at the end of the year and say, okay, what do we actually have here? And bring in a new head coach, because Frank Reich wasn't it. And, he's a guy that, he's not going to be great with the X's and O's, but he's a motivator. He's a guy that people want to play for, as Luke said. I just think that he'd be a great coordinator. He's just not a head coach. He's not ready to be a head coach. Nobody thought that when they hired him, and that's why he took so much flack when they did hire him.
If you would have told me that they would have pushed, I do believe Reggie Wayne is on that staff.
Yes.
Correct. If you would have told me they would have put Reggie in, wouldn't have probably complained just because he's on the staff. If you would have told me now you were hiring Jeff Saturday to mentor Quentin Nelson in that offensive line, I would totally be for it, because
great.
I believe that he could be a Mike Munchak of the NFL. He can be a very good offensive line coach. He knows the ins and outs, the schemes, the blocking scheme, what the defense wants to do, what my quarterback wants from me, what my offensive line can be capable of. And I think because Quentin Nelson, yes, he's getting paid. He is a very good offensive lineman in the NFL, but I feel like Jeff Saturday can bring something else out of him. And I think that's what that offensive line is lacking, especially this year. That offensive line has not gelled and not played good this year for them.
Yeah, I completely agree. I think that it was just a circus act, and this has turned into a legitimate team playing for a coach that's very passionate.
Is it maybe even a way to sell a couple more seats?
It is. And you wanted to bring in somebody diehard Indy because you want the fans to love it. Coach Peanut says, I'm surprised more minority candidates haven't spoken up about that hire. And that is something being discussed, right? Like we hear a lot of that exact situation on why they didn't interview more people and they went straight to Jeff Saturday. I do want to talk Cowboys O'Kenny with you since Luke's going to come right back into the show. Odell Beckham met with the Cowboys Monday, did his physical, and the team was not convinced he's ready to make a run or ready to even be on the field. They said that he wouldn't be ready till mid-January, which means the Cowboys would have to be guaranteed a championship game and a Super Bowl. And then at that point, if you're there, do you need an Odell Beckham Jr. on the team? To me, the worry and hole right now is defensive back. I don't think it's wide receiver for the Dallas Cowboys. But Ken, I'll get your thoughts first before I jump right in.
I said this a couple weeks ago, I think, on this show. I think the idea of getting Odell on the team is better than what actual production would be. And I didn't think he was ready. I felt like he's maybe coming back too soon. Clearly, they've now determined that he wouldn't be ready to go. And you wouldn't want to bring this guy in middle of playoffs. Hey, you haven't played a rep of football in a year? Yeah, we're just going to throw you into this playoff game. I think it's absurd. I don't think that they should bring him in. Also, the team's playing well. So why are we concerned about Odell? And I said that a couple weeks ago. Why are we concerned about bringing in Odell? We just beat the crap out of the Vikings. We beat two of division opponents that we should. And now we're gearing up for that Philly game in a couple weeks' time. So I don't think we need Odell. Odell is not going to be like this needle mover. If you wanted to do something like that, you would go out and add a piece on defense, if anything, or maybe you get some O-line depth. But I don't think we need Odell. I don't want Odell. I think it's just added pressure bringing in a guy like Odell, and Dallas doesn't need that right now.
I mean, what better get-right game would it be than playing against the Houston Texans and being healthy enough to play against the Texans to come join a championship caliber team? Like, I don't think there's a better pick-me-up game all year. Now, instead, you're waiting to get into the playoffs before you can even play a game. I just don't think it's worth it. I mean, at this point, I'm scanning the free agent wire on what corners are available and what defensive backs are available because my guys are down. There is no Brown anymore, right? There is no who got hurt on Sunday.
Can't remember.
Yeah, so your second and third string cornerbacks are no longer available. So now you're looking on the waiver wire for somebody or anybody who's available that can play corner for your team because I just don't trust Bland to step up into that number 2 role. I don't trust Donovan Wilson sliding over to a corner slot role. It just doesn't make any sense for me. Luke, I'll give you the last take on OBJ and what your thoughts are.
I'm pretty sure I'm sticking to what I've said, and his knee is not right. And you can poo-poo that all you want, but there's 3 teams that have looked at him, and if he's 100% healthy, he should have been in the facility over a month now. At least a month in my facility with my doctors, with my training staff, learning our offense. Like at least a month ago. And just the fact that OBJ's a prima donna. He wants to get showered with all these things, and he's getting put on the Jumbotron at the Mavs game, and he's hanging out with Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs, and like, oh my God, come to Dallas. Let's tweet at each other, and let's make sure we can come to Dallas. Like, but why don't you hit the PT sesh a couple times and make sure that knee's all right? Because obviously, if 3 teams individually scored your knee, obviously something is wrong, and they still feel that.
But Luke, he can't be hurt because he went to that Mavericks game with Micah Parsons and Trayvon Diggs. So like he's clearly fine, right? According to them, like he's great.
He walked on and off the court, so he looked fine.
He's ready for contact football.
It looked ready to me.
Obviously, I've never had a knee injury, but apparently he's good to go with 2 tears in his same knee.
I have a full new knee replacement. He looked good. He looked fine to me. All right,
Ernest, I'm just saying, if he was 115% OBJ, I would have had him in the Dallas locker room a month ago.
Yep.
That's true. That's true. We're going to move on to another injury that's plaguing people. Kenneth Walker III, questionable for Sunday now. The questionable tag gets placed on there optimistically, though, as results came back negative. He just has a high ankle sprain. He was held out as precaution. I think that's a disservice to fantasy football managers everywhere, but that's a whole nother opinion. Guys, any concerns for Kenneth Walker? Are you playing him this week?
No, I'm not. And you know what? That's talking about a guy that scored 91 points in fantasy last week. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
The issue is that the second, third, and fourth string running backs are all hurt also. So there's nobody else in Seattle to carry that ball unless DJ Dallas gets over his ankle.
Think about how bad Carolina are. They don't have 4 running backs, and they're still -4 this week.
Hey, wait a minute. You mean to tell me the running back room in Seattle is hurt? Never heard that before.
Chris Carson would like a word. Oh, wait, he retired due to injury.
Yeah. Wayne Gallman's now in the practice squad. That's how bad it's getting.
Holy hell, Wayne Gallman.
Wayne Gallman.
Isn't it weird, though, that like the last 3 years we've been talking about Wayne Gallman come fantasy football playoff time because he just finagles his way onto a roster.
He does.
But then he goes and he gets 60 yards and a touchdown and he gives you a 12-point week and you're like, what the hell? This guy wasn't in the league.
It's exactly. That's exactly
right.
It's
Jonas Gray all over again.
It's the damn truth. That's the damn truth. All right, so Kenneth Walker, league fantasy managers, worst case scenario, you're playing him and you're getting a couple points and he's going to come out.
Don't play him.
Revenge week happened. Revenge week came. Deshaun Watson got his revenge on Houston for leaking all of his stuff and getting him suspended and fined for his
all of his stuff,
bad behavior. Malik Hooker gets his revenge game, even scoop and scored a touchdown for the Dallas Cowboys, and AJ Brown got his former GM fired.
Yeah,
Tennessee Titans fired their GM after AJ Brown just exploded. Guys, your best revenge week story. Go.
How's it not AJ Brown?
It's absolutely AJ Brown.
Well, here's the thing. Deshaun was terrible.
He
was so bad. Now, here's the thing. He hasn't played football in a year and a half or however long it's been. So I'm not surprised that Deshaun was bad. That's why I didn't touch the spread betting on them this week. Hooker, I mean, that's great against Indy, but I mean, it's hard to call it a revenge game when you're just beating the crap out of your opponent.
True.
And you weren't that concerned about losing that game. AJ Brown straight out dogged his old team. He had 8 catches for like 120 and 2 touchdowns. He caught a touchdown, had it called back because of a flag, and then on the next play caught that same touchdown. So I think he looked over at that Tennessee sideline and was just like, really? You thought I wasn't worth it? I'm a top. What has he been this year? Top 8 wide receiver in the league?
He is. I'll get his fantasy ranking right now.
Honestly, I would rival putting AJ Brown in the top 5 of fantasy football this year for wide receivers because the only other guys I'm putting Tyreek, I'm putting Stephon Diggs, I'm putting Justin Jefferson, and then after that, I'm thinking about it because Cooper Kupp went down. That's a big reason why. And DeAndre Hopkins didn't play half the year, but he's been top 5. He's got 9 touchdowns. I think I saw a stat that he had 9 touchdowns and that the Titans wide receiver core has 4 touchdowns this year. So
yeah, he had 4 touchdowns against the Steelers.
So clearly they missed the guy and they probably regret it. Now, that being said, when the trade happened, you probably thought, well, yeah, they're giving up AJ Brown, but they're getting picks back for a guy that he was hurt up until this year. He always missed time at some point, and you get worried about that. And then he stayed fully healthy. So they took the gamble. It didn't work, but they still got a haul back for him. And Treylon Burks caught a touchdown, who was one of the guys that they drafted with one of those picks.
AJ Brown, number 5 wide receiver right now, wide receiver 5.
Oh, so he's top 5. Perfect.
Yep. And he's only 99.9% rostered. I don't know what league he is not rostered in, but that's the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Do you ever question, though, how many leagues are just that inactive?
Yeah, that's definitely it. Love the threads. Appreciate you, Dan. Appreciate you. Very much, very much. All right, let's go.
Did
power
rankings.
Think
anyone else out of those 2, or was this just AJ Brown week?
It was just AJ Brown. That was really kind of the hook. I mean, 28.5 QBR almost sold me on Watson, but I think I'll stay away
28
from
and a
it.
half. His team didn't even put up that many points.
I know. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and say no on that. And so
Luke, you weren't going to defend Deshaun Watson? Oh, sorry, you're not his lawyer. That's
You
my bad.
know, I don't want to be number 27.
You don't want to massage his ego. I get it. That makes sense.
I really didn't want anything leaking on the field.
You're taking more of a hands-off approach.
Yeah, I'm more of trying to keep the hands team off the field.
Oh, God. Okay, we've had enough hands puns. Let's move on.
Let's try to work things into place. Your top 5 power rankings. Now
Are you working out some issues?
Yeah. Let's do a a full analysis on the NFL top 5 rankings. I like to start with Kenny on these so that we can get our wonderful GOAT segment going. And of course, Coach Peanut defending his Browns. They got the win. That's all that matters. I got you, Coach. I got you.
That defense was great. They were great against one of the top 10 worst teams of all time. So good job.
Definitely play your Cowboys defense this week. All right, let's run it down. Kenny's. Are the Eagles still number 1 for you?
Yeah, the Eagles are 1. At 2, I'm probably putting Buffalo back there. Kansas City losing is kind of big. I'd put Dallas 3 after how they've looked last number of weeks. I would put Kansas City at 4, and I would put the Bengals at 5.
Okay, interesting. That's a little bit of a switch up. Luke, who you got 1 through 5?
I know I had the Chiefs at 5, the Bengals at 4, Philly at 1, Bills at 2, or did I have the Bills at 3?
You're going to put the Cowboys at 2 and stroke Ernest Ego?
No.
Oh, sorry. We're already off the Deshaun Watson
actually,
topic.
That's what it was. I had Dallas at 3, Bills at 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. I guess that comes down to me. Let's go ahead and start this one off. Let's see. If I had to pick a couple teams from the NFC, it's not even close. Dallas Cowboys start off at number 1 for me. I don't think that's going to change until somebody beats them again. So I'm going Cowboys at 1 because they're going to win out this season. Then you're going to have, I guess I'll put the Eagles there, though they're going to get exploited on Christmas Eve. But we will just let the Cowboys take care of that. So Cowboys at 1, Eagles at 2, going Bills at 3, because I do think that is the 3rd best team in the league right now. At 4, I'm still putting the Minnesota Vikings there. I don't think the Vikings are fakes. I do think they're for real. I do think the Vikings are a very good team. And then 5 would be the Chiefs for me. Tied for 5th is Cincinnati. So I have.
So you have a top 6.
I have a top 6
Pick
now.
one.
Cincinnati at 5.
Oh, so no Chiefs in the top 5.
No Chiefs in the top 5.
So you're taking Kirk Cousins over Patrick Mahomes. Lock it in.
I am. Lock it in. I'm going to say it right now as one of the bold takes of ITL. The Vikings will make a deeper run than the Chiefs this year in the playoffs.
I don't like that.
That's okay.
But the thing here's where this is sneaky by you, because if the Vikings are 2 like we think they're going to be in the NFC, they're going to get the 7. So if Kirk Cousins can't beat Geno Smith, Taylor Heineke, Daniel Jones, man, I will be shocked. Whereas Kansas City, they could finish the 2 and they get the Ravens. They get maybe the Bengals slip.
Like maybe that's the thing though. Like what if Lamar comes back healthy and you have a Chiefs Ravens first round wild card?
Okay, can I give you my hot take for the week?
Sure.
The Raiders are going to make the playoffs.
That's not a hot take because I was actually going to talk about that when we talk about the first game.
How's that not a hot take? They're not in the graphic for in the playoff hunt right now.
So let's run through that.
Okay, I'll give you a real one because he's not on the show. New England's not winning another game this year.
Oh my God, that's a huge thing. I have to look at the schedule. We're going to bring it up.
No, and because I've looked at this. This isn't just me blasting New England as much as it's fun to do that. So here's New England's schedule. The only game that they could potentially win down the stretch is this week. They go on the road to Arizona.
Okay, so first off, I'm in Phoenix next week on Monday. So I am very much debating going to this game. Okay. So if I'm there, the Patriots are obviously losing because the Cardinals can't lose.
So if they lose that first game, look at their next 4.
I'm looking at it. You have Raiders in Las Vegas on Sunday, December 18th. They're losing that game.
Bengals
at Gillette. I don't know if they lose that game.
I think they do. The Bengals
are the better team. The Bengals are the better team.
The Bengals are red hot. That's basing it off today of how these teams are playing. Because let's not forget that New England are slumping right now, technically.
No,
it does not. It does not get easier. They play the Dolphins on New Year's Day.
Dolphins at home.
They're playing the Dolphins at Gillette.
Yep.
And that's a 50-50 for me as well. But I'm pretty sure Miami wins that game. And then Buffalo in Buffalo. That's if Buffalo needs it, and they may be playing backups that game.
Okay, but we're looking at best case scenario for all of this. I'm just looking on the surface right now. The only game for me that is winnable based off of how they are currently playing is this Arizona game on the road. If they don't get that game, then I don't think that they win the rest of the way. Because the Raiders are killing it. Bengals, they're red hot. Miami, they got tons of weapons. And Buffalo. I don't think that's a hot take even necessarily to say that there's a chance that they lose out.
That's tough, man. That's
tough. They finally hit the meat of their schedule. We've been talking about it all year. Who have they beat?
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're right.
Twice. The Jets twice is their resume. Because I swear to God, if we say the Steelers with Mitch Trubisky, then I'm going to lose my mind.
No, I don't think we're going to go there. But before we go into some deep analysis on these teams, let's watch a video about the BCMG Stream Team in a big tournament this week in the Championship Series of Call of Duty is happening. We saw the Nonsense and Deep Thoughts podcast make a comment. They may be doing live coverage this weekend. Who knows? We're going to keep you on your toes. But we have 6 finalist teams competing for $600 this Saturday right here on ITL or on the Nonsense and Deep Thoughts podcast. I'm very excited to show this coverage. Let's look at all the streamers, though, on the BCMG Stream Team, led by Captain and Head of Streaming, Coach Peanut, that you've seen inside the comments tonight. Let's roll it and show the people what they're missing.
Jill going down the hill. Gonna go fetch Jack in his little pill. Jack feeling down and that's pretty bad. Let's go.
Oh! Yo! Clip that! Clip that headshot!
Nice.
No!
A pistol. What? Okay, that didn't count.
I got woo! Let's go, baby! Clutch it up! Yeah, I like it!
What? No way! Did that precision just kill me?
Let's go!
Nice, Papa!
Papa with the clutch kill at the end. Let's go.
Oh, I missed. That was bad.
Got him.
Nice.
Man, I'm going to go steal their shit.
That is definitely orange. Green.
You're dumb and it's orange.
We're both wrong, red.
I could get that solo if I tried it a couple times, but we'll come back to it.
I'm fucking dick right now. Holy shit. Like, I fucking suck right now.
Yeah, I can go.
We have Off the Ball Network saying, I know that Ken guy. Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. That Compedge guy is somebody you should know very well. We share that sponsorship. All right. Round 2 is Primetime Pick'em. Week 14, the way too early NFL Primetime Pick'em. For those following Texas basketball, we are in overtime against the Fighting Illinois. Yep. So let's move on. First game, Thursday Night Football. The Baker Mayfield led... I'm sorry. I had to. Cam Akers led Los Angeles Rams.
Can we get the... We good?
Yeah. We absolutely
good on the money line at least?
Versus rate. I mean, at least. You're going to be keeping track of the
parlay. Are you
parlay.
worried about this spread? Because I'm not.
No, I'm good with Raiders -6.
Okay. I will actually tally the parlay.
We are tallying the parlay for sure.
Can we say this might be a snoozer on a Thursday?
No snoozer here.
Out there.
No snoozer.
We're not gonna burn the snoozer on a Thursday.
Nope, not doing it this week.
That's
Not doing it this week.
bad one.
But we're gonna leave this light on for just a moment. Let me just. Josh Jacobs gonna run all over this.
I know why you're
team.
holding it. I know what the next game is.
Yeah, okay. So we're just gonna keep rolling with this. But Raiders -6 over the Rams Thursday Night Football. Don't worry, just make sure you play your starters for this game. There's gonna be a lot of points. Cowboys versus Texans -17 at home.
I would take Dallas -9.5.
I will agree with that. I would take Dallas -17, but you could go ahead and put 9.5. That's fine.
All I know is I've never seen a number that high. That's fucking embarrassing.
Also, the number that I have on my book is -14.5. So if you're finding 17, like
I got 17. Yeah. Okay. So I have Dallas -17. I am going to take Dallas -17 for my official bet on my picks. But we are going to do Dallas -9.5 for the BCMG parlay. We're going to flex that down a bit. Guys, you play all your Cowboys in this game. Dalton Schultz will get a touchdown. He goes one off, one on, and he's obviously going to be on.
You know who's catching a touchdown this week? Noah Brown.
Noah Brown, do one. Noah Brown. I do like the TD Lambs. I do like both running backs in this game for Dallas. I'm starting both of them in one league. And
you doubled down on Cowboys running backs?
I did.
Is it the ITL Homer League?
No.
Okay, just checking.
So let's move on to the game of the week, which is going to be Niners versus Bucks. Niners 3.5-point favorites at home versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. What a game. Tom Brady had a big comeback this past week. We didn't talk much about it. We don't really talk much about Tom Brady on this show. But okay. So the Buccaneers got their win. They're in first place of the NFC South. In case you don't know it, they're the 4 seed right now. Cowboys probably playing them first round. Wild card. I keep saying first round wild card. And the 49ers have, is it Purdy still? Is he the quarterback?
No, it's Josh Johnson now.
Is it Josh Johnson now?
No, they signed him today.
Oh, yeah. So it's definitely Purdy. So Purdy is the quarterback there in San Fran.
I understand the time it's going to take to put Baker out there, but the Rams are literally they just signed him today, and they're going to play him on Thursday. Like, at least you could have gave him till Sunday to play. But what?
Yep. So Christian McCaffrey was hoping for Baker to get signed, but that didn't happen.
He vetoed that so quick.
So now we have Niners against Bucks, where Tom Brady's probably going to have his defense eat up the quarterback. I'm going to take Tampa Bay to upset the Niners on the road this week. I like everything Tampa Bay right now for the offense. The 2 drives they had that were successful this past week. I just think the Niners are not going to be able to stay in the game with the quarterback they have. So I'm taking Tampa on the road. I'm going to take Tampa in the points, though. Tampa plus 3.5. Kenny.
So I've been laughing at this all day. So everyone keeps saying that Elon broke Twitter, but do you want to know what the second biggest trend on Twitter was earlier today? It was Big Cock Brock. Not kidding. That was trending on Twitter, and it was for Brock Purdy.
Oh my gosh.
I got concerned that maybe Brock Lesnar had something happen, or no, it was Brock Purdy.
That's bad.
Big Dick Brock was trending on Twitter today. So anyways, I'm going to take the 49ers to win on the money line, but I would only do -2.5. I can't go over a field goal with Brock Purdy at QB. I still don't think Tampa are good. And I cannot wait for Dallas to get them in the first round.
I can't wait for that either, because I don't think they're that good either. But Luke, you're the tiebreaker here.
It's just tough with me. They can't run the ball.
No.
You have a 46-year-old quarterback throwing it 55 times. Like, I don't know. I still think that it'll be a close game. But I think the 49ers have enough. I mean, Deebo Samuel could play quarterback for all I care. It don't matter. I think they still have enough weapons to be in the game at least, and probably still win by 1 or 2. So
San Francisco money line for both Kenny and Luke in this game. Not too flashy prime times games yet, but let's go to the Sunday night game, which I think is going to really pique the interest of a lot. Chargers versus Dolphins. Dolphins 3.5-point favorites on the road visiting LA. I started the last one. Kenny, I'll let you start this one off. How do you feel about the Chargers at home?
Historically, this is a game that the Chargers lose because every year they start hot. They're like 4-1, 3-0, whatever it is. Then they get to this lull in the season. I'm hoping that changes because I am going to pick the Chargers to win straight up. Obviously, then I'm taking the plus 3.5. But I don't know. At a certain point, if they don't start winning these football games, we have to start talking about Justin Herbert maybe not being that guy. Like he'll be a great talent, but still needs time to win football games because if he misses the playoffs once again, I know he's been missing Mike Williams. I know he's been missing Keenan Allen a lot of the year.
Missing his offensive coordinator.
With this roster, knowing that Denver stink and have not been as advertised, and you currently have the same record as the New England Patriots, we got to start having that conversation about Justin Herbert not being able to win big games. So I'm going to go with him to finally get that win that they need at home against the Dolphins.
I think Herbert in prime time is a good quarterback, and I think he's missing his offensive coordinator. You see how the Vikings look so dynamic compared to the Chargers.
Coached.
Yeah, it's an absolutely horrific coaching job. I don't want to blame Herbert too much.
I think that they go for it in so many puzzling situations. They'll be like 4th and 4 in their own end, and it's like, punt the ball.
Yeah, but the analytics say.
But then the analytics guy says never punt, but then they're down in the goal line, 4th and 1, and they're like, you know what? We're going to take the points now.
Yeah. It's a strange predicament. I think they got to find a healthy balance. The coaching staff needs to be relooked at. I'm going to take Justin Herbert and the Chargers to win this game as well. I'm going to take them money line. I don't like the 3.5. I think that's a trap. I'm going to take them to win this game in a game-winning field goal type of fashion. So give me the Chargers money line. Luke.
I've said it before, I'll say it again. The Chargers will always charger themselves. They just, I don't know what it is. This team historically has had great people on it. They had great teams. They just fall apart, and it's so frustrating. I don't understand it, but I think they could probably do it this week because I didn't pick them last week. I picked the Raiders. So I'll take the Chargers this week.
Chargers money line for you, Luke?
Yes.
That is a very scary BCMG guarantee getting added to the parlay right there.
I expect that.
Wow, BCMG guarantee Chargers plus 3.5. Are we good with that?
Oh, I would just put the money line on the table.
Yeah.
All right, money line it up. Let's spruce it up. All right, Chargers money line enters the parlay for those following along. Dallas minus 9.5, Raiders minus 6, Chargers money line. And we move on to Monday Night Football, where I will be in Phoenix. Cardinals versus Patriots. Patriots 1.5-point favorites on the road, going West Coast here. We'll start this one off with you, Luke. Who you like in this game?
East Coast, West Coast. Give me West Coast.
Cardinals are the first pick on the board. Cardinals -1. Cardinals money line for you then. All right, Kenny?
I mean, do we have to say where I'm going with this game after what I just said?
Yeah, it is true. You're going Cardinals money line for sure. I'm taking Cardinals money line as well. So 3 cards picks puts that on the parlay. Another upset money line pick. Wave those fingers in the air.
Parlay
like
right
you
now,
just don't care. That is true.
Money.
I'm going to slap some money on this one. Cardinals money line now enters the parlay, and that ends our primetime pick. If you didn't know that already, for the last one, Ramondre Stevenson is a play. All your Cardinals are a play. There is no reason why you're not playing those. This game for Texas and Illinois is absolutely bonkers. All right, before we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to round 3 fire round picks. Not that we haven't been doing it fire round style as well, but join us in just a moment. All right, we are back with round 3 fire round pick, and we're going to zoom right through these. We start off with nothing circling toilet bowl like the Cleveland Browns. That's right, Bengals -6 versus the Browns. Anybody taking Browns in this game?
Nah, Bengals are at home. I definitely wouldn't be picking a spread, though. Like, I would just put Browns money line on the ticket.
Total
Or
Bengals.
money line.
Total Bengals across the board. Added to the parlay. Bengals money line is being added. Are we good with 6?
It's tough in a divisional game. I don't think I'm taking it, honestly.
I honestly don't even like taking a field goal spread in a game like this because I could see this being like 22-20.
Absolutely agree. That BCMG guarantee is just going to be a money line to your parlays. Bengals money line now. All right, the tying Giants are going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Eagles -7 on the road against the Giants. I'm taking Eagles to win this money line. Another divisional game. Kenny.
I mean, I'll take them on the money line, but I think my favorite bet this week might be Giants +6.5 or +7, depending on your book.
Luke.
Divisional game. Give me the Eagles, but 7's too much.
All right, Eagles money line is going to be put on the BCMG parlay. Make that another money line game. That moves us over to Tennessee. Tennessee Titans -3.5 versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. I don't know if anybody's picking Jacksonville, but I'm going Titans -3.5 if I have to on that parlay. But Titans money line for sure.
I'm not watching this game. I know that.
It's still not the snoozer of the week.
It's not.
No, that's the sad thing. Tighten up for me. I don't see Mike Vrabel's team losing terribly like that again 2 weeks in a row.
I have to agree. Oh, we got a Jacksonville pick. Can you give us a reason why?
Because he lives there.
What?
He's got a vacation home from Saskatchewan there.
Oh, God. Can confirm, never been to the state of Florida. That's not true. Titans haven't looked great. They really haven't. And I think Jacksonville just got behind early. Thankfully, Trevor Lawrence did not get hurt in that game because he went down and I thought everyone gasped. So as long as he's 100% healthy, then yeah, I'll take the Jags to win a division game on the road.
There we go. We are not adding Tennessee to the parlay. 2 Tennessee picks and 1 Jacksonville pick for this game. That moves us over to Buffalo. Buffalo minus. Go ahead.
The lead in that division. It's got to be still right.
Titans are in the lead. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Just wondering.
They're 7 and 6, 7 and 5.
7 and 5, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. They may not have to win the rest of the year, and they might win the division.
Yeah, everybody sucks in the division. Bills -9.5 versus the Jets. Anybody picking the Jets in this game?
I ain't fucking around with 9.5 though.
No, not at all.
I would play like -3.5.
Okay, 3.5. I'm good with 3.5.
I could see it being like 24-20.
Yeah.
All right, I'm good with that. Buffalo Bills -3.5 added to the BCMG guarantee parlay against those New York Jets just for shits and giggles. Let's go ahead and run it. That is beautiful. Appreciate y'all. The producers in studio today. Steelers -2.5 versus the Ravens in what's going to be deemed the ITL snoozer of the week.
I wasn't sure if this was, and I do think that it is.
I am.
But there's one other game that we'll talk about that was close.
Yes. Yeah, I'm with you on that one too. This is your game though, Luke. So give us your prediction.
No Lamar Jackson. Mark Andrews is still beat up. Steelers are playing good defense and good downhill running. It's going to be ugly. Probably another 19-16 game, honestly. But I'll take the Steelers.
Steelers to win this game. I am taking the Steelers to win this game as well. It's going to be a very, very, very
under is
ugly and boring game.
Right? It's got to be mid-40s.
For that game, we are looking at 37.
Woo! Yeah, it's going to be a very boring game. I am taking Pittsburgh to win, though, Kenny. I knew you were going to go Ratbirds.
I haven't even said it yet.
I know it, though. This is a Kenny pick.
I'm going to pick the Ravens.
What?
There it goes. Kenny goes with the Ravens, calls out his own shot there, and There you have it. No guarantee for this game, which there shouldn't be. So it's the right call. Let's move over to what might be the most entertaining game of the week to me, and that was Lions versus Vikings. I think this is going to be a very fun game.
Explain this betting line to me.
Lions -2 versus the
All
10
day, your response to this line
versus the 10-2 Vikings. Lions are favored in this game at home, just about probably because of how well they've been playing at home. It's not a primetime game, and I am not scared to say Vikings will win this game on the road against the Detroit Lions. Vikings to me by a million, taking Vikings to win by 10, but Vikings money line for me for sure.
If there was a game ever pegged trap, this is a fucking trap.
It's the truth.
Like, Vegas is like, oh, I'll get those guys.
Got them.
I built another casino with their money. Gotcha. I mean, yes, the Lions have been playing better. Jared Goff has been actually pretty decent as of late.
Yeah.
They're playing good football. But man, I just, what's the hate on for the Vikes? I don't understand. Like,
I don't get it.
I mean, I know they've played a couple close games, and but they're still number one in that division. So it's like, why are we playing this game like this? I mean, the Lions have a very good running game. I give them that. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is an up and coming wide receiver in the NFL. But man, -2 on the road again, or at home. Are they playing at home?
No, they're on the road. They're on the road.
They're on the road. It's just, I don't know. I was waiting honestly all day for Kenny's thoughts on this line. I was confused.
Okay, so here's what the betting numbers tell me. Minnesota against the spread on the road. They're only 2-2-1. So they're not great at covering on the road. Lions are 5-2 at home covering this season. So they're a good home team for covering games. But explain this to me that the Vikings have won 9 out of the last 10 head-to-head. And they've covered in 6 of those wins. And make it make sense, because we're talking about the old Vikings. The bad Mike Zimmer Vikings.
Yeah.
So this is what is so confusing to me, and I think that everyone is going to pour the bank account on the Vikings this week, and that terrifies me, but I cannot get myself to bet Dan Campbell, because if I...
It may be funny to you, motherfucker, but it's not funny to me, okay?
It's the damn truth.
That's what I'm going to say to Vegas when they take my money. So... I have to take the Vikings. I just can't figure this out. I don't see any scenario where this makes sense. It's not like the Vikings have been terrible. They played a good Jets defense and scored 27. So
they've had one bad game.
They can keep it close against the Lions defense. I don't know.
Thank God you didn't tell people to bet on the Longhorns.
So are we betting Vikings just straight up money line?
Yeah. Vikings money line. Add that to the parlay.
I will say this much. If the Vikings lose straight up, if they lose, and that's the reason why this parlay misses, then I might have to take a break from competitive hedge. I might just have to take the week off and reflect about why I thought that I knew better than Vegas. So that's where I'm at with this game.
Yeah, how dare you?
I don't get it. I'm so confused.
Let's move on to another game that I think we're all waiting to talk about. Broncos versus Chiefs. Chiefs 9-point favorites on the road against the Denver Broncos. This was my second place snoozer of the week.
I got a different one.
Okay, so you're talking Seahawks Panthers then. I think this is just going to be a snoozer because it's so. What's that?
So thanks for spoiling it.
Oh yeah, sorry.
You could have waited for the game, but sure.
My bad. But yeah, I don't think anybody's taking the Broncos in this game. Do I have any takers?
Yeah, Undertaker.
Undertaker.
That's the best.
Left side.
Can we also talk about the update on the total amount of touchdown passes thrown by Russell Wilson in comparison to bathrooms in his home? Because it is still at 7, and he has 12 bathrooms in his home, and he has not thrown a touchdown in 2 weeks.
That's so bad.
And the week before that, I think he threw 1.
Yeah, I think Russell Wilson probably should have been a Brown. You drop more deuces in his toilets than he can on the field. So Kansas City, are we good? -4.5 in this game?
Are the Chiefs at home?
No.
No, that gets tricky. I would do 6.5. I think they'll win by a touchdown. I don't know if they'll get to the 9 mark.
Okay, I'm good with 6.5. All right, we are going to add that to the BCMG parlay. Wave your finger in the air like you just don't care. This parlay is going to hit big this week. If you need Christmas presents for your kiddos, if you have to go Christmas shopping.
Whoa.
I've been saying that on Competitive Hedge all month. I said we're not getting any gift cards. We're getting cardigans. We're getting sweaters. You might even get an engagement ring by month end. So let's do this.
Let's go to Kenny Snoozer of the Week. Seahawks -4.5 versus the Panthers. Go ahead, Kenny. Tell us why you think this is the snoozer.
I think the idea of Geno Smith playing football is all fun, well, and good, but they might be the only team that scores in this game. Carolina is so bad. I don't get the 43.5 either. Because what do we think the Panthers are capable of scoring?
17.
Oh, you guys are even going that high. I think that they're capable of scoring 14 max.
No, I'm starting Foreman and Morse. They have to score 2 touchdowns
on the road, which tells me then that Seattle has to go and drop like 35 on them, which I know that offenses look pretty good, but if there's no running backs, then I get a little bit worried. I would take Seattle straight up money line, maybe -2.5, because I don't like betting the Seahawks more than a field goal at any juncture.
Yeah, I like Seattle. I think with Sam Darnold, the offense clicks a little bit better for Carolina. So I'm going to say that they actually score 17.
I forgot they have Darnold. They're still 14 points.
But that's so embarrassing. That is so embarrassing by the Panthers. And you trade for this guy, and then you just let him walk.
Yeah.
Like, that's so fucking embarrassing.
And he's going to go win a Thursday night football game. No, nobody else. All right, that was a good joke. All right, Kenny's going to tabulate what our BCMG guarantee parlay will get us if we bet $5 on it. And
or at the end. Okay, -2.5.
We're at the end. Only 13 games this week, so those of y'all watch the bye weeks. Here we go.
$10 wins you $15.65.
There you go. $15.65 on a $10 bet. All right. Good luck with that. We have our BCMG parlay. We will relay that. I will post this podcast episode Thursday morning. You'll be listening to this right before the Thursday night football game. You'll want to bet that $10 bet, $1,500. Look good right before the holidays. Luke, why don't you tell people where they can find you until Kenny gets back?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at King of Hearts 82. The Penguins are finally starting to get back in their groove. The Steelers look like they found somewhat of a niche. So Pittsburgh sports ain't too bad, and then Brian Reynolds wants to get traded. So I don't really know where Pittsburgh sports is right now, but I just want to thank you for letting me come on, speak my mind, bud.
Absolutely. It was a pleasure to have you. I know you spent most of the time under those covers in your bed, and then finally jumped on. I appreciate that. Kenny Cotterill making his appearance back from London, his wife. And Kenny, tell the people where they can find you.
I wasn't even letting her in necessarily. I guess I was just opening the garage. By the way, you want to know how cold it's going to be in Canada tonight? -50 Fahrenheit tonight in Canada. So lovely weather up here that we're having. You can follow me at HedgePod, as you can see in the banner there. Monday through Friday show. I'll be honest, probably not going to do a show this Thursday because I have a work function that's going to go late, and just really don't feel like that 6 a.m. is going to be a lot of fun. But we're up 17 units so far this month, and we are only 6 days into the month. So if you bet $20 a bet, you would be up $340. So having a good start to the month. Would love to keep it going. And as always, appreciate you having me on, Ernest. Luke, is always a phenomenal time seeing you as well. And let's make some money this week.
Yeah, this BCMG parlay is going to make us all rich. I can feel it. That is tonight's episode. ITL is way too early. NFL Pick'em Week 14 is in the books. If you don't know what that parlay is, Kenny is going to message that over to me so I can relay it when we post out on Thursday morning. Get those bets in. The odds may be ever more favorable Thursday morning. So get those bets in as soon as you can. I am your host, Ernest Silva. Add into that pod is where you're watching tonight's episode, where you're listening to today's episode. I wish you guys the best. Happy holidays. The Christmas hat and lights come out next week on ITL inside the studio. I'm excited. The producers will make their appearances. We wish you guys the best. Safe travels for those traveling this weekend. Happy holidays to everybody.
What are we doing?